ArkansasRadio.com. This is Bob Connell. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of our open mic program. And we do have Jonas Anderson with me right now. And Jonas, as mayor, you know, this year has been quite the year for Cave City. Some call it the Phoenix, Cave City Phoenix. Some call it Cave City Strong, Cave City Comeback. After the tornado, you guys have seen phenomenal community support.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, it's been a year like no other. Literally, we've never been hit by a tornado like that in the city's history. And so it's been a challenge, but it's been really inspiring.
You know, when you look at it, we have some really good positive things. If folks that has come to Cave City to shop at the grocery store, it is open. That was surprising. A lot of people thought, man, that took a long time, but there was a lot more damage and a lot more updates that had to be done.
You know, that's one thing we've learned in a tornado situation like this is, you know, you think like it won't take that long to rebuild this, or it won't take that long to repair that. But when you really dig into that, the way that things were damaged, the types of systems that were damaged, it does take a long time. But we're thrilled, obviously, for the grocery store and everybody else that's getting back on their feet and getting opened up.
You know, you got a lot of things we should share. I mean, the cleanup was just unreal. Trees. I mean, there was forests that were down. You just can go on and on that it started.
Yeah, we had millions of pounds of vegetation debris, trees and things like that, and we were able to remove the vast majority, 99% of all that, out of the city within 2 months. And that's just because of all the amazing volunteers and companies that showed up and said, hey, we're just here to help. And our city team, obviously, the way that they led all these big groups of volunteers and things. So yeah, it was a miracle with what was accomplished on that.
And a lot of folks didn't think the Cave City Watermelon Festival was going to happen. And it was bigger than ever. Now, that's a come together.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Amy Finster and the whole festival committee and all the volunteers they have, you know, that was something right away within like a week. They were talking to me about, you know, we want to have this festival. We need to have this festival. And like you said, it was a record-setting event.
And I've gone to every one. I don't remember a festival that big and that many people in the state talking about it.
Yeah. And one thing that I really want to mention, you know, every year the festival does the prize melon auction, and the growers, who are amazing, always donate melons to be auctioned off to raise money. In the past, you know, they have always done a lot of really good work for Children's Hospital. This year, especially with all the stuff that had gone on, the committee, you know, made the decision to keep those dollars local to, you know, help out with the backpack program and the food pantry and things like that are right here in Cave City. They raised double the amount of money that they normally do. I think it was like $20,000 this year. And that money went right back into the community with the local food pantry and other efforts. So it was an unbelievable festival.
You know, that's what I love. And then we got to talk about the chamber. I tell you what, I mean, Brandy has done a phenomenal job. This is from 0 to 100 in like months. And it's really funny. I got an email, and I've been coming to Cave City, but graduated Cave City in 83.
Yeah, 83. That was a really good year, Bob. You know, I was born in 83.
So it shows you. But what's really amazing when you look at it, we never had a chamber, never was reached out to me, and never thought about it. And as soon as they said, oh, sign me up.
You know, we had a chamber in the 90s and, you know, different years. And of course, it's like everything. There's different iterations. People kind of come and go. And so it had actually been completely dormant for, you know, a number of years, I think since 2016, something like that. A group of us, you know, we're looking at it. We're like, gosh, now's the time. We've got to have a good chamber. And man, talk about knocking it out of the park, asking, you know, Brandy Schultz to consider. And she obviously accepted to be hired as the executive director. And like you said, in January 2025 was the official relaunch of the chamber with 0 members. And as we sit here today, I think we have almost 110 members, and that's with all the tornado upheaval. And Brandy was a huge part, obviously, in the tornado recovery too. So like you said, phenomenal job.
Absolutely. And the Cave City Watermelon Festival, you said Amy did a phenomenal job too. She is just really, it's a great group effort. Got a great team. And we've also got to mention, you know, one thing, you graduated in what year?
2001.
2001. The Cave City High School expanded across the road, and it's all brand new state-of-the-art facility. And now they've got an opportunity for a brand new grade school. This will make Cave City one of the newest campuses in the state.
Absolutely. And So, yeah, like I said, I graduated in 2001. Several years after that, they relocated the high school, built a brand new facility across the road, 2006 or 7. That's obviously been a huge boost to the community. Now we're looking at this opportunity with the school. They're wanting to build a new elementary school also across the road behind the high school building. And man, it's a huge opportunity. Nothing supports a small town better than a really well-funded, modern, safe school district. And so when you've got a good public school district like we do, that's just a huge boon for your community.
Well, that's true. And one thing, there is a grant. It is a partnership funding. Means you got to do it or you lose it. $12.7 million. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and like you said it very well. So the state is offering the school district $12.7 million to help, make the money up to build this new facility. And, they're only offering it now, and so it's kind of a do or die moment for the school district.
And the early voting's going on now. The 18th is the day of voting, but also the school district. Now this is some great stewards. I got to give it credit for the school board and Stephen Green. They've got $6.1 million already saved to go towards this project.
Yeah, and that's a huge number. Like you said, I think the total project's somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 million. And so for the school to already have, $6 million plus saved is, like you said, it's almost unheard of. It's very hard to do that as a small rural school district.
Okay, and then what they're doing basically on this, the voting, they're just voting to keep it the same, just to basically keeping the financing going. And they don't have to do anything. No raising taxes. Just keep it as is, and you will have a brand new campus, which also Evening Shade was brought into that complex too as well.
Right. You, like I said, again, you've already said it. So they're not asking for a millage increase. Right now it's 39, which is a little bit below the state average if you look at schools across the state. But yeah, they've worked this project out really well, as best as you could do it, where they can have a brand new elementary school for generations to come without asking for an increase in the millage. All we have to do is just restructure and reauthorize the current millage.
That's something that we even see for city offices. We're talking about that. But do you realize these buildings were built in the 60s? And that's just, imagine having the facility of the 60s and you move it up to now, your energy costs are be unbelievable.
Yeah, well, and especially in a school setting, it's one thing for a small building to be that old, but when you have a huge footprint like that and you have buildings that are that old being used in those very special ways for kids and schools, it makes a big difference when you start having decades-old problems coming up and you're having to kind of fix those while kids are in the school, and it just becomes a burden.
All right, let's get out and vote. Tomorrow is the last day to vote. Early voting going on right now. Cave City strong, Cave City comeback. I mean, it's a great time to be in Cave City.
It really is, despite the tornado, obviously, which was, incredibly painful and hurtful for a lot of people. We are really coming back very strong. And between all the good things going on with the chamber and the festival and the school district being as progressive and forward-thinking as they are, we've got some other stuff in the coffers too for 2026. People are very excited, very energized, and I think they're behind us on a lot of these things, and I hope that we'll keep on moving forward.
We've been talking to Jonas Anderson. Hey, I tell you what's amazing. Being mayor of this town it's kind of like a godsend. They say old mayors never die. They move to Cave City.
Well, so this is, I've born, raised, and graduated, as I say. My grandparents graduated from Cave City in 1950. And so this is home. I mean, this is where I want to be. And, there's plenty of other places that one could go, I guess. But if I'm going to be here, I have kids in the school district. My family is here. And so, yeah, I'm loving it. I got the best job in the world.
We've been talking with Mayor Jonas Anderson of Cave City. Cave City strong. And remember, it's just another step for Cave City as you can early vote for that millage that is for Cave City schools. It's just a restructuring, and they will have a brand new campus. Early voting going on today. Last date to vote is tomorrow. And Jonas, thanks so much for joining us for Open Mic.
Thank you.